Hi, I'm August Keller, and this is my review of The Brutalist. So, I think The Brutalist is an instant classic. I don't say that lightly either. I think it's what cinema is about. First off, it has a lot of themes. There's prejudice, family, trauma, industry, power, obsession, oppression, and artistry, like the power of art. And all this kind of comes together as like a critique of the American dream. And all of that kind of boils down to the dehumanizing nature of classism, because it's about displaced immigrants. The protagonist and a few of the other main characters are all displaced immigrants, and it's just kind of their plight, more or less. The main character, he's pretty exceptional. He's like one of the greatest architects of all time. So you can see him just trying to break through and actually achieve, what more or less, I don't know if deserves is the right word, but his skill definitely warrants success, and he's going against all these systemic issues, primarily prejudice, and is as artistic as he is, he's at the whims of the people who have the money, and so they don't even necessarily look at him as equal. So anyways, that's what the themes are. That's what the movie is about. And each character, they really are thoroughly realized. They each have internally conflicting motivations, but also externally conflicting motivations, like I described. They all are flawed. Even the protagonist as sympathetic as he is, he's very, very sympathetic. He also has flaws, things that you might not like about him. I didn't like everything about him. There are some things that I genuinely disliked about him. But he's still, that just makes him more interesting, right? There are a lot of complex relationships, like the protagonist and his wife. Their marriage has so many layers to it, and they all grow. There's a lot of growth in all these characters. They all are just so three-dimensional, these characters, and a lot of that has to do with the acting. The acting really, there's in every scene, in every moment, there's just this like intangible but raw humanity in each little choice they're making, whether it's just a shift in their body language or the way they say something. And obviously there are a lot of big moments too, but they're just fully embodying these characters. So yeah, these performances, they have intensity and layers and range, authenticity, evolution, like I said, and there's also just like this profound pain, just deep down, like at their core, these characters are hurt, and that transforms all these roles into like graphic reality. It's just like this movie feels almost as like you can touch it, and a lot of that has to do with the acting. I also really like the dialogue. I just want to shout that out. It's very character driven. Like each character speaks a certain way, so it feels very natural. But also there's this like subtle, quiet poetry sometimes to the things they say. That it's very like, I can imagine it being a very quotable movie. Maybe not like amongst your friends, but academically, like it's almost like a philosophical. A lot of the things they say. So all that is to say that I think The Brutalist is everything that a story can be, and should be, honestly. Technically, I think The Brutalist very much optimizes cinema. Its direction feels timeless. It combines like this grandeur, like this, like I said, there's this huge scope to the movie, but also it's very intimate. So it's grand and small at the same time, and that is just so powerful. It really accentuates. It makes the grand moments feel bigger. It makes the small moments feel like much closer and deeper. And I feel like I got everything out of this movie that I possibly could. Lighting, composition, focus, and very long uninterrupted takes make the cinematography, like, it gives this like melancholic beauty to it. It's sad but beautiful at the same time. The editing has this very slow, meditative pacing and a very epic, large runtime, which might be intimidating for some people, but I found it very immersive, and I think it just was the perfect choice to make for a story like this, and I think it defines the film. The sound has a lot of voiceovers, either from characters or from archive footage that fits thematically. There's a lot of symbolic motifs, like a train engine. There's key moments of silence that I think are very powerful. And there are also these moments of accentuating distortions, like emphasis and echoing, that kind of like heighten what the characters are feeling. The music, I think, is basically iconic already. It really gives the film an identity. It's very brass heavy, like horns, and kind of operatic. So it like kind of blends like this elegance and this discordance, which I think also is very thematic. It's kind of reflecting how, the beauty and the pain of life, especially in a world where you feel at odds with some of the structures around you. The period production design, it's set in an era, but it's very much a centerpiece of the film. It has scale. It has a lot of like this industrial color palette. It depicts class divide very clearly, and there's also this looming architecture. The plot is about them building a massive building, and that building is always just kind of there, looming over the story. But there are other architectures that the film highlights. I think the title, The Brutalist, is about the architecture style. So that is important to the movie, obviously. The cast has career-defining fit. I think that, the fame isn't necessarily star-studded, and maybe I should go full 10 out of 10 here. I'm kind of questioning myself live on air, but at the very least, these roles define the three main characters, their careers, I think. I think we'll go down, and these will be the first movies that people mention when we're talking about these actors. And they're well fit. I mean, Brody, there's even a meta quality to his fit. The effects have a lot of tangibility. Like I said, there's a lot of big structures, and I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, is that production design? Is that effects? But I like that they're not ever CGIing anything in. It's always actually there. And there's also brief but significant aging makeup, which is worth mentioning. So yeah, overall, I think The Brutalist is a masterpiece. I don't say that lightly. I try to refrain from saying that because it can get tossed around too much, and I think it can kind of even be a cop-out. But I think when we're talking about a movie that could arguably be one, the greatest movie of this decade, I think it's in that discussion. When we're talking about a movie that wholly harnesses and encompasses the medium of filmmaking, it's a masterpiece. So yeah, I recommend this movie highly. I think this is the kind of movie that is just genuinely, truly art and spectacle. And I think it's going to be a movie that goes down in history. Or at least it should. Well, I hope it's received as well as it deserves. So yeah, that's all I have to say about that. If you like what I'm doing here, please feel free to like and subscribe. I also have an Instagram linked in the description. I'd love support there or here on my channel. But at the very least, I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time. Okay, thanks. Bye.